Donald Trump's administration is in a state of complete collapse. And I really don't think I'll ever get tired of saying that, because no matter how much they pretend or how much Carolyn Lewis tries to defend, there is no convincing us otherwise. But you don't need to convince me. You can just ask Donald Trump, who, according to a new article, a new report from CNN, might have Kristi Noem on the chopping block. Yes, the woman who decided that her dog's days were done might have her dog days done because of Donald Trump. We are going to get into it all and the panicked freak out of a reaction that Carolyn Leavitt had to this story. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video, and if you haven't already, and you enjoy our channel, to hit that subscribe button, because it goes a long way in supporting our work. Now, before we get into Carolyn Leavitt's meltdown and the new prospect of the firing of Kristi Noem, which, boy, that would be exciting, I want to start with one of the reports that has gotten us to this point, and it's the corruption, which within DHS that Chenoweth broke down right here.
And that brings me to the first part of ProPublica's big scoop today. Because it turns out that the majority of that no-bid contract money, 143 million taxpayer dollars, went to this kind of mysterious LLC in Delaware. An LLC that was created just days before it got that no-bid contract, just days. And the man who owns the home that LLC lists as its address did not respond to ProPublica's questions. Now, when asked why the agency chose that LLC, DHS said, quote, "The results speak for themselves," and then proceeded to claim that Trump has made the border the most secure it has been in American history. Not exactly answering the question. So DHS gave a $143 million no-bid contract to a brand new LLC that no one seems to know anything about. That is obviously a scandal enough to begin with. Then there's this. This is an ad Kristi Noem shot on October 2nd, which, by the way, was the second day of the government shutdown. So while hundreds of thousands of federal workers went without pay, including the nearly 50,000 TSA workers that work under Noem, Noem donned a cowboy hat and had a production company film her riding horseback with buffalo. And whether or not you care about the very weird content of the ad, you should care about who made it. Because according to ProPublica's new reporting, that ad was made by a company called Strategy Group, which is run by a man who is not only the husband of Noem's chief DHS spokesperson, Tricia McLaughlin, yes, she's a something, but also has personal and business ties to Noem herself. And the company's name, Strategy Group, does not appear on any of the public documents about the contract. Instead, the group listed on the contract is the mysterious Delaware LLC that DHS gave that $143 million contract to. I should say that DHS said in a statement to ProPublica that it does all of its contracting by the book. Okay. But the office in charge of funding ad contracts at DHS is the Office of Public Affairs, which is run by none other than DHS spokesperson Tricia McLaughlin. And when she was asked about why DHS ended up using her husband's company, Strategy Group, to make that ad, she replied with this: "We don't have visibility into why they were chosen. I don't know who they're a subcontractor with, but I don't work with them because I have a conflict of interest and I fully recuse myself. My marriage is one thing and work is another. I don't combine them. Well, Tricia, they seem pretty freaking combined right now, don't they? I mean, her husband, the CEO of Strategy Group, Ben Yoho, did not respond to ProPublica's questions. So not only did DHS give a $143 million no-bid contract to an unknown LLC,
corruption in this administration is nothing new. And although I don't think Donald Trump has that big of a problem with it, I think it irks him a little bit. He was certainly more concerned in his first administration with anybody making money off of him. Now, he's fine with people making money off of him, but through his administration, maybe a little bit less so. And that is exactly what Kristi Noem is trying to do, because the leadership that Donald Trump has given to those in his administration has been leading them to cash grabs, to grifts, to profit off of their position in whatever way possible. That is what this administration has entirely been about, the grift. That is what MAGA has learned after all of these years, that they can treat their base like stupid people, because they are. And two, because they don't react and steal every dollar possible while doing so. But it's caught up to Donald Trump. Not that he cares about corruption. He does care about his approval rating, which is at a record low, which is why he might be moving away from Kristi Noem. And that report has Caroline Leavitt losing her mind. Caroline Leavitt melts down at bombshell ICE Bobby claim. Caroline Leavitt has raged at CNN for claiming Donald Trump is weighing major cabinet changes just weeks before he hits the one-year mark of his second term. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, 28, erupted online at a detailed report by the outlet, which said that Trump aides are planning for a possible cabinet turnover. CNN said that most notably at the Department of Homeland Security, Kristi Noem and her powerful advisor and rumored lover, Corinne Lewandowski, appear increasingly vulnerable. Beyond DHS, the CNN report also suggested that Energy Secretary Chris Wright and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth could be at risk. This story is 100% fake news. Leavitt fumed on X, accusing CNN of inventing drama to rescue dying ratings. President Trump could not be happier with his cabinet, but senior administration officials and DHS officials have been whispering for weeks that ICE Bobby Noem may indeed be not long from this world. Well-placed DHS sources have told the Daily Beast, citing her deepening reliance on Lewandowski, who has clashed with Trump. The stress inside DHS has grown more intense amid pressure from Trump's immigration czar, Stephen Miller, 40, to hit the president's target of 30 or 3,000 deportations a day, not helped by a chaotic ICE hiring spree described to the Beast as a shit show. Another added that Noah and Lewandowski's leadership style has begun to grate on Trump's top immigration architects. So Kristi Noem could be on her way out, old yeller. Kristi, oh, it's the end. It's the end on the flights on the G4 jets. It's the end of the grifting with your ranchers. It's the end of the cosplaying while you wear $50,000 watches. Oh, Kristi, it is the end. But it also represents the panic within Donald Trump's administration that we talked about earlier when detailing a report about how Pam Bondi could also be on her way out over the Epstein scandal that Donald Trump, let me actually fix that wording, the Epstein cover-up, the criminal Epstein cover-up that she's engaged in. But Donald Trump once again thinks that his MAGA base is so stupid that he can blame Pam Bondi or blame Kristi Noem and say that they are the ones responsible for all of the chaos. Now, of course, those two are idiots. They're bad at their jobs. They're criminals themselves. But if you don't think that they are only acting in the way that Donald Trump would at all times instruct, and that there is no independence from this White House, you're dead wrong. Donald Trump is going to throw them under the bus. Likely soon. Hopefully soon. In short, he'll install some other crony who's going to grift and break the law. That is just what this Trump administration is. But boy, oh boy, will it be so sweet to see them so sad. And hopefully, Christine Oham, maybe you can get a little bit more Botox on your way out so we can't see you frown. You'll be physically unable to because they're putting so much goop in your face. And you know what? Anyone who says that, you know, Jack, lie off Christine Oham's appearance. No, I'm going to talk about our appearance. People who are rotted on the inside. I will talk about how they're rotted on the outside if they look like Christine Oham. And I think we're allowed to do that. The dam is broken for Donald Trump, and he thinks throwing that a couple of bodies, and I guess Kristi Noem's dead dog in front of it, is gonna stop the flow of just a term-ending chaos. It's not gonna be the case. You're not gonna be able to get your way out of this one, Donald. And I'm gonna savor every single moment of it. And so is Lawrence O'Donnell, who broke down the other many ways that Donald Trump's term is collapsing in on itself in this clip right here.
In this country to decide how many Trump supporters they want in the House and how many in the Senate and how many opponents of Donald Trump they want in the House and in the Senate. No one knew in that week when the Berlin Wall collapsed that the Soviet Union was then going to collapse. And that's where we are tonight. We don't know what will happen next year. But now we know what's possible. We've seen the collapse of the Trump wall in Congress, and we know that Donald Trump is weaker than he has ever been as president. And it may be that we are a year away from Donald Trump coming under the full control of a Democratic House of Representatives and a Democratic United States Senate, and that would bring Trumpism to an end. The Congress can fully control Donald Trump's madness, but the Republican Congress so far refuses to do that. A Democratic Congress will control Donald Trump. A Democratic Congress will investigate Donald Trump and everyone working for him, and they all know it. And so a week after trying and failing to convince one Republican member of Congress to change her mind, Donald Trump turns to threatening death for 6 Democratic members of Congress because they said this.
Like us, you all swore an oath
to protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
You can refuse illegal orders.
You must refuse illegal orders.
No one has to carry out orders that violate the law or our Constitution.
We know this is hard,
And that it's a difficult time to be a public servant.
But whether you're serving in the CIA,
the Army,
Our Navy,
the Air Force,
Your vigilance is critical.
and know that we have your back.
because now, more than ever,
The American people need you.
We need you to stand up for our laws.
our Constitution, and
And who we are as Americans. Don't give up.
don't give up.
don't give up.
Don't give up the ship.
At 9:08 a.m. today, Donald Trump wrote his first lies about what you just heard. And please remember that everything I report to you that Donald Trump said about this is a lie. He said it's called seditious behavior at the highest level. Each one of these traitors to our country should be arrested and put on trial. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. We won't have a country anymore. 3 exclamation points. An example must be set. There is nothing seditious about it. The only logic of Donald Trump's statement is that he wants to be able to issue illegal orders, and he wants the American military to follow his illegal orders. It is impossible for anyone who understands the English language and the law to disagree with a single word that any of those members of Congress said. And everyone today who has objected to what they said has left out the fact that they are all referring only to illegal orders. 12 minutes later, Donald Trump wrote, "This is really bad and dangerous to our country. Their words cannot be allowed to stand. Seditious behavior from traitors, lock them up, ? Now, no, they will never be locked up. They will never be charged. There is nothing to investigate. Every word they said is true and is legally correct. And then an hour later, Donald Trump said seditious behavior punishable by death. To which Senator Chuck Schumer said this.
Let's be crystal clear. The President of the United States is calling for the execution of elected officials.
It really is so lovely to see. And let's, be honest, love to see it. And we will continue to cover the many ways that Donald Trump's term is imploding upon itself. And might I just say that, considering that Zoran Lundani was in the White House today, that is exactly what we need to be doing. We need to be showing how weak and ineffective Donald Trump is, how easily he will capitulate to us, and we should. Although Zoran did not come in guns blazing with threats, he charmed Donald Trump and got him to say that billionaires shouldn't be worried about higher taxes, that he wouldn't send ICE into New York City, and that he thinks he's a great guy. So that was pretty funny. But I think we should be taking advantage of Donald Trump's cognitive state, his deteriorated cognitive state, and how weak he is right now in the way that we approach holding this administration accountable before we have power. Because it's still going to be a while. It has not been a year since Donald Trump was sworn in. It will be more than a year since Democrats take control of the House and hopefully the Senate. Hopefully the House. We still got to fight and make that happen, but it's going to happen. Right? We know that's going to happen. So let's make it clear to this very weak administration. There's going to be lawsuits. There's going to be charges. There's going to be accountability. As Eric Swalwell says, Save your fucking emails. We're coming for you. Let's do that right now. We're certainly going to on this show. If you want to support that as always, you can hit that subscribe button. Leave a like on this video. If you stuck around at the end, drop a blue heart in the comments. Keep on fighting, y'all. Don't let them silence you. And until next time, I'll see you soon.